Hi, everyone. My name is Jason,
I'm Noah.
and we are the founders of Inspire Unity. Today, we are back with our fifth segment of 3 minutes, 3 questions. Kind of crazy. We're already at 5.
Yeah.
Our guest here is.
My name is Harris Baker, and I'm the founder of Catfluence.
All right. So, Noah, can you please explain a little bit about 3 minutes, 3 questions for me?
Yeah. So 3 minutes, 3 questions. We'll have somebody from the designated project, of the community. And with this first one being cats, it's only right to have Catfluence on here. Harris, this would be a fun little segment and get to know a little more about him. So let's hop into the questions.
Perfect. So, Harris, how was Catfluence born? Like, did you always kind of want to pursue a cat inspired social media page? Like, where'd you get that idea from?
So it's definitely not something I always want to do. It's kind of something I fell into. To kind of backtrack a little bit, this was back to 2013. I was dating somebody at the time, and she wanted to get a cat. I had a cat when I was a kid, maybe like 1 or 2 years old, but I never really had a cat. I didn't really have pets growing up either. But then, so we got the cat. After a couple of weeks, kind of had some tragic circumstances, and we ended up losing that cat. Then her family got us 2 new cats. So that's when I got the cats I have now still, Elliot and Olivia. Around that time I had started working in digital marketing. And I was getting kind of exposed to a whole different world, and kind of just for fun back then, I created an Instagram account for my 2 cats, Elliot and Olivia. And I kind of did that for a couple of years. And then as I started getting deeper into marketing, I started working in affiliate marketing and working with influencers, different types of athletes, musicians, brands, and different things like that. But it was all human related. But then I started to see cats like Grumpy Cat and Lil Bub, some of the more popular ones. Rest in peace to them both. But they were two of the bigger ones that I was kind of inspired by. And I was like, I have this account for my cats. I'm working in digital marketing, working with influencers. Like, I know how this whole community works. Like, why not try to do something with it? And I came up with the idea for Catfluence. I started a sports blog around the time. I started a few other Instagram accounts, and I kept messing around with them for a few months. And this was kind of the one that I stuck with. And I've kind of been doing it the past couple of years. I started in 2017, and that's kind of what I've been doing since.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that
cool
is
story
cool.
On how everything just kind of flowed in.
Yeah, so sorry to hear about the first kitty, though. That's sad. That's super sad.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So the second question that we have, is Catfluence your full-time job? And also tell us a little bit about the volunteer work, because I know you, in our DMs, you said you were volunteering, and that's why we're having this late night episode. But yeah. So tell us a little bit about that and Catfluence. So
okay. So yeah, like I mentioned before, I was working in digital marketing when I came up with the idea behind Catfluence. For the past 7 years, I worked for 2 different companies. I worked for a marketing agency, and then I did some consulting the past couple of years. Currently, I have a full-time job. I work for a physical therapy company. They have offices out here in New Jersey, New York, Florida. I do all their digital marketing, social media, email marketing, updating their blog, SEO, different things like that. So I do have a full-time job, and I do actually really like my job. But yeah, so Catfluence, I kind of work on. I've worked in this whole agency culture for a while, working on a million different clients. Now I have this one job I focus on during the day, and I can come home and work on Catfluence in my free time. Regarding the volunteer work that I do, so I volunteer with a group called Miss Pat's Cats. It's a TNR rescue out here in New Jersey. Miss Pat, she operates out of a few Petcos in North Jersey, I think 4 different locations. And we have a team of volunteers that everyone goes in once a week, and goes and takes care of the cats, cleans their litter, feeds them, plays with them for a little bit, just cleans the cages that they're staying in. And if you walk into any of the Petcos, you could see them like prominently in the front. So there's a lot of foot traffic there. And that's kind of been a cool experience. I volunteered for the first time. I went to like a meet and greet, and this was like right before COVID started last year. Then kind of things got a little crazy, as you guys know, as everyone's aware. A few months after that, I was working from home, and I was like, I have some free time. Maybe I could volunteer with Miss Pat. So I got involved. I started volunteering. I've been doing it for a little over a year now, and it's been a great experience. Like I said before, I never really planned to get into this whole cat space, but it's been cool going there every week, seeing the cats. It kind of warms my heart seeing them actually get adopted, which is great. And it's kind of like I've built this connection with my cats here, but I have a different connection with the cats at Miss Pat's, and I kind of like working towards that.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So have you ever like wanted to adopt one of the cats? I know I'm just an animal person. So me personally, like I have issues like detaching from the cats, like, or dogs, like whatever it is. Like I have the issue. Like I'm like, dude, I don't want to see that cat go. Like I really like that one.
Yeah, that's definitely been one of the toughest parts. There have been some that like I've connected with. There have been some like there's one right now. Her name is Mushy, and she's been there for about 3 months, and I she's a great cat. I think she deserves a home, and I would love to take her in. Unfortunately, my apartment they only allow 2 pets. I already have 2, and I think I don't know if I could handle with my lifestyle having any additional pets. But yeah, that is definitely something I struggle with. But all the ones that since I've been there in this past year, they all do get adopted eventually. And it is really nice to see that when they do, and to see pictures of them with their future forever families.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're pretty busy, huh?
I'm,
Job,
I'm,
Catfluence,
I'm,
the volunteer
I'm
work.
a busy guy. I don't get much sleep.
It's better to keep yourself busy while we're young, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So third and final question here. Where do you see Catfluence in the future? Like, do you have any goals, plans? Like, where do you want to take it? Do you want to make that your full-time job eventually? Like, where do you see that in the future?
So it definitely evolves by the day, by the week, by the month. I think one of the big things that I'm working on, a lot of people reach out to me and they either want their cat featured on the page, or it's brands looking to connect with people in my network. And I'm working on building out a process to make it so there's like a portal where brands and cat accounts and humans can sign up to, and they can see the brands or cat accounts available, rather than me having to always be the middleman that facilitates these partnerships, because it just takes time for me to do that, and I want to find a way to automate that. So that's a big thing I'm working on right now. I think some long-term stuff, and I think you guys are getting involved with NFTs as well.
Yeah.
Once you your final design, so you guys might be into this, but I'm definitely getting into that space as well. I'd like to launch my own NFTs and kind of incorporate that to the whole Catfluencer program that I have. Maybe if you have one of my tokens, you get certain perks each month. So I'm kind of working on that. I have been getting involved just in the NFT scene on my own. I don't know if you guys have heard of Stoner Cats, with Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. They launched their own NFT project. And pretty much if you own one, you can get access to it's like a cartoon show with cats, Stoner Cats. Actually, they launched a new episode last night, but only people who have the NFTs can watch it. So I've been looking at that stuff a lot, and like there are the cool cats, the crypto kitties, all sorts of different cat NFTs, and like I'm into the NFT space, and using this platform, this cat platform that I have, I think has been kind of cool for me to get into the NFT community a little bit. I think one of my biggest long-term plans, and this is years down the road when money's not an issue, and I think I've made it. I'd love to open some sort of cat cafe.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Right? Yeah. This is Olivia right here. She hears the sound and she knows when I'm on Zoom talking to people. So, but so a couple months ago I went to Chicago, and I went to a place called the Cat Cage. It was a cat rescue and an arcade. You could go like play video games and do stuff like that. So I'd like to do some sort of different kind of concept with that as a long-term plan.
That's sweet. Actually, everything you said was cool. First one, the business side, like being able to monetize that, connecting brands with the people. That's a great idea. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Secondhand, the NFTs. I mean, that's just I I love crypto. I think it's the coolest thing ever. And
Yeah.
like moving into stuff like that, that's really cool. Especially like being one of the first ones into the space, because there's not like a ton of people into that space as of now. I mean, a lot of people are flowing in, but you got some great ideas.
There's a lot of untapped potential,
Yeah.
I think, in like that space.
Yeah.
Especially like
Yeah.
now.
That's cool. I've even thought about stuff like that, like certain, like if you have one of ours, you get this, stuff like that. That's really cool. And I know like Gary Vee does something like that.
Yeah.
So you have one of his, then you like it's a ticket into his conference. So Gary Vee,
Yeah.
if you're watching, we're here.
So it's funny you bring him up though. So a couple days ago, he bought a few of the stoner cats.
Yeah.
And he's been like promoting it a little bit now. He was a character in the episode that they aired last night, but since he got a few, the floor price has gone up a little.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Of course.
I'm sure.
So that flows into our bonus question.
Okay.
Because we do 3, which the 3 that we tell you about, and then we like to do a bonus, just a surprise, just blindside you really quick. So our bonus, who's the coolest person you've met since starting Catfluence?
That's a good question.
Or maybe a couple. Give us like
I'll maybe give you 2. The first one I'll go with is Gary Vee. I have a video. So this was a couple years ago, maybe 2019. So he owns his father owns the wine store, the wine library out here in Jersey, and that's how he got his whole start in marketing and business. He was doing like a book signing there a few years ago, and I went. I waited like 2-3 hours online just to like speak to him for a couple minutes. But I showed him a few things. I showed him Catfluence. I gave him a sticker. I told him about the idea, and we just talked a little bit about that. So that was pretty cool. I have that video up on like on my YouTube and website. Probably the coolest one though was these guys called the Cat Dealers. Their names they're Pedro and Luigi. They're Brazilian DJs. They do like EDM music and that whole kind of thing. But they were actually voted this year in the past couple of years, the DJ Mag Top 100 DJs. So a couple months ago, they were doing a show in Philadelphia. I reached out to them through Instagram. I said, I'm not too far from there. I'd love to interview you guys for my Catfluence page. And they brought me into like their green room or whatever before the show. Did like a little interview there with them. And then they brought me out when they performed like backstage with them. That was a pretty cool experience. And the whole thing is their name is the Cat Dealers. They have like 9 or 10 cats at home. Their mom owns a rescue in Brazil. So they grew up with a lot of cats, and that's where the whole name cat, they called their mom a cat dealer because she was kind of dealing cats.
Right.
If you will. So yeah, that was a pretty cool experience and I'm into the whole EDM music scene. So that was cool for me to do.
Oh,
that awesome. Sounds super cool.
Yeah. You're like living the dream.
I
That's
know.
Pretty cool.
So was it sweet when you went backstage, like when the concert was going on? Like how cool was that?
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I've never like seen a show from that kind of perspective.
Right.
One in the crowd watching it. So yeah, that was definitely awesome.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's sweet.
Well, this is a pretty cool episode.
Yeah,
I didn't know all that stuff.
I would have never known like about like I would have just thought that Catfluence was your full-time like job. I thought, maybe what you did with Catfluence, you were just full-time and you were jumping into it. But dude, that's super sweet.
And like, all the experiences
that you've got from it too.
That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm a marketer at heart. I've been doing this for a couple of years. I know how to get through to people with some things. I mean, I'm not perfect. There are things that I know I can improve on, both with Catfluence and life, but I'm always pushing and trying to put myself out there. Yeah. As I see you guys are doing as well. So I think it's awesome that we connected.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so
Grinders.
much. Yeah.
Grinders working together.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us for this segment of 3 minutes, 3 questions. We've really enjoyed having you. Got anything?
I don't think so. Nice meeting you.
It was great to meet you, Harris.
You guys as well. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Cool.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording.